It's 9 a.m. at Wits University. Normally this main artery is filled with students heading to their respective lecture rooms and getting on with the business of student life. Today, universities around the country resume the academic year. Only this time, students won't be flooding back to campus after a lengthy vacation. Instead, online teaching and learning is the solution to save the academic year in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic and the extended lockdown period.
Behind the scenes, we've been planning for going online. That's maybe been for almost a month now that we've been looking at the various possibilities, because since the first case, we were aware that it was only a matter of time before Corona would reach our shores. And so that process started in terms of engaging the faculties, talking to the academics, but also slowly beginning to talk to the various student groupings. So when we then made the decision on the 16th of March to close the campus and to go into early recess, the work then really started around how do we go online, what are the best methodologies that we need to adopt, what components of that sits online, and then of course also then thinking through the poor students and how we would best be able to support them.
The global shift to online learning follows the example set by universities in China, where the outbreak first began. Although distance learning is not new in South Africa, it's unprecedented at the scale, raising questions as to whether it would succeed or increase the inequalities in education. Some of the points of concern centered around high data costs and access to devices such as laptops.
We've been talking to a number of funders to be able to assist us. The first thing we did, of course, was to check actually how many students are potentially negatively affected. We've, through our own data, we've assessed that it's about 10 to 15% of our student body. What we then did was to check up on those students. We then engaged with some funders, some private sector, and we're in fact still looking for funding to support us. But those are the conversations we had. We then looked at devices. What are the best devices that we are able to access? How many of them can we access? Is there possibility of getting it to that student in Pedi in the Eastern Cape? And once we were able to work through those, it's at that point that we then said, let's go for it.
With the zero-rated agreement, students can log on to access course materials, hand in assignments, see their grades and converse online. Lecturers can record their classes in real time, where students can access the lectures at any point.
For material that is outside our website, we have reached an agreement with MTN, Cell C and Vodacom, where we are going to distribute 30 gigs of data to each student. Starting from tomorrow, students will be receiving their data. Now, how does this data work? 10 gig, you can use it during the day, and 20 gigs, you can use it during the night.
While the work to transition face-to-face instruction to online environments would mean an initial massive increase in working hours, the results could be promising, offering a chance to carefully examine educational technology in acute, crisis-driven contexts.
I think the coronavirus has taught us one thing, that online learning is very, very important, especially in this era where diseases can wreck economies of countries. More so given the fact that even this coronavirus, we are not quite sure whether we are even going to find a vaccine. And if we do not find a vaccine, it will always be a threat lingering in our minds. So going forward, I imagine a post-corona world where online learning becomes the norm and contact becomes the supplementary aspect of learning.
Observers have been pointing out the many ways in which the current environment is set to change the world forever, pointing out that life will be very different even after the virus burns itself out. This may be true of traditional classroom education. Nastasia Arendse, SABC News, Johannesburg.